Gotthard Liebich was aged 17 on D-Day 1944. He served in the German army as an infantry soldier in 352 Infantry Division, the division responsible for the defence of Omaha Beach. Gotthard was about 12 miles inland when the Allies landed on Omaha Beach, and he cycled there with his unit, armed only with a rifle and a few bullets. With no backup, there was little the unit could do, and the following day they found themselves surrounded and, ultimately, captured. This is Gotthard's D-Day story, told through extracts of his interview in 2003.
Well, I think it was talked about quite a bit. The invasion is coming or might be coming, and we felt, well, we're ready for it, so to speak. Because Rommel came in February, if I remember, 44, and I was right on the beach in a place called Vierville, where later on this one end of Omaha Beach, and Colleyville is the other end of Omaha Beach. And he came there, and he organized that the fortifications should be much more improved, you see. And they worked on it like the clappers, but it didn't finish it because, it was too late. That's the idea. But we didn't see any of this activity. That was done by the organization TODT, I think, T-O-D-T. After being in Vierville, which is on the coast, we were sent back a little while, and our company was in an orchard in tents. Probably only about 3 or 4 weeks. And then on about midnight of June the 5th, the bombarding started on the coast, but we didn't really take much notice at first because the bombs going off here and there all the time. Especially, as you said, the planes coming back, they're just dropping their load, But it didn't stop, and because it didn't stop, we never went to sleep that night. And then the officer in charge said, I think it's about 4 o'clock. I think this is the big one. We weren't sure. We hadn't been officially told. No, well, that was the whole thing. Nobody knew it was the thing, because even Hitler expected it to be in Calais, you see, and kept the panzers over there, you see. So about 4 o'clock, he said, pack your bags, get ready, and off we go. Now, we'd always been a marching sort of type of infantry until we got into this orchard. We got bicycles off on our bikes, and we left all our luggage, what we had, except what we had on the body, in the cart, and we had horse and carts, I think. They were following us. We never saw our luggage again. And drove towards the beach, not really sure where we were. I wish I was sure, but I can't remember. But I have a feeling we came in at Formigny, which is, again, the same area where we were before. And suddenly we had some fire. And of course everybody dropped their bikes, and then on foot we went on the 6th of June. This was about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. We hadn't reached the coast yet, but we moved forward, and me being in the signals was one of the few 3 or 4 people that had to go back to make contact with the regiment, headquarters. But for some reason I wasn't asked. So we got as far as the cliff sort of edge, where it goes down. And there we could see this massive of balloons and ships, and we'd never seen anything like it, you see. This was already 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I would say it was bright daylight. And we had taken an American prisoner. I remember that distinctly because nothing happened to him, except we had to search his pockets, and we found some chewing gum. Never seen chewing gum before, you see. And then this prisoner was with us all the time, but during the night he must have disappeared somewhere. So we were hoping that we'd get some support from the artillery or panzers or aeroplanes. Nothing. We just with a rifle and machine guns. Nothing. Not even a howitzer or something like that. So we just spread out a little bit and sent some messengers back, and the kids coming back. Can't get through. There's soldiers all over the place in the back here. We knew then about midday on the first day that we were surrounded, you see. I don't think at that point they were unloading soldiers, yes. We started at 06:30, but in Omaha Beach, as you know, the bloody beach they call it, we gave them a lot of resistance, you see, and they didn't get in, but they must have sneaked in through Vierville. I think that's when they went through. There was only 3 entrances. Each village, there's 3 villages, had a reasonable drive down to the coast, and one of them they must have, I think it was Vierville, where they got the troops through, and they got behind us, you see. There were spotter planes all the time. We had to sort of keep quiet and not move too much when they were coming across, because they would send the artillery from the ships to bombard us. So this went on. It was probably for me the longest day. This went on until in the evening, and we still hadn't been able to get out. We didn't have a sleep, any food, nothing, just kept going and hoping that something would turn up, you see. I mean, that's what you hope for. You hope for support from behind. And we couldn't even get behind to tell the headquarters where we are. The signals people had to lay the wires, In those days there was no phone and so on. So we couldn't get back. So I think the night, well, it was a long night, but with all this activity you don't really notice it. And in the morning, we probably had no casualties, as far as I can see. In the morning, the officer in charge decided we've got to get out. We can't go forward, and we have to go backwards, because forward is too much activity. So we moved backwards a little bit, and we were in the ditch. The French have every field has a ditch and a hedge, you see. And remember, we were in that ditch finally, after deciding we couldn't go back either. We're going this way, resistance. We're going this way, resistance. And but we hadn't been spotted. And I would say a company is normally about 100 men, but I don't think we were quite 100 men in that ditch. Some might have disappeared somewhere. And I was either in the back of the line or in the front of the line. Just so happened, And suddenly we spotted from the village, which now turns out to be Saint Laurent, the one in the middle, a platoon of about, I would say, 8 or 10 Americans with their rifles at the ready, walking towards us, not knowing we were there. And they just kept coming quite innocently, just 8 or 10, not many. And then whoever was in charge said, we can't just let them walk over us, we have to shoot them, see? So what do you do? It's either you or me. So. And we waited till they're about, still see it now, about 80 yards maybe away. Yeah, and then he said, fire. And of course, everybody fired one shot, and they all fell down. I don't think many of them survived. But now, the aeroplanes were above. This was about next morning, about 10 o'clock. We knew that they would see this. They were just all over the place, these little spotter planes. So it was a quick get out of it. And me being in the front of this group, nearest to the next corner of the ditch, a field pass, we jumped, whoever could, across, down, and up into the little thicket, I call it. A little hedge about as big as this room, maybe. That was sort of bulging out a bit into the field, and we just jumped into there quickly and collected ourselves, and then looked out. They're coming, about 100 of them in a row next to each other, Americans, towards us, very slowly but surely. And the sergeant or whatever said, it's no good, we can't shoot them all, we'll have to surrender. And at that moment, that's the first time I thought about being a prisoner of war. Well, what can you do? We just walked out, threw our rifles away, and put our hands up and walked towards them.
Please help to rescue and preserve more memories of the Second World War. Visit www.war-experience.org.